I, teen female, have a younger sister Jade, teen. We also have older twin brothers, 20. Before all of this, we were best friends and incredibly close. The family joke is that technically we're almost twins because we were born in the same year, me in January and her in December. 4 months ago, an awful secret was revealed about our mother. Jade and I used our own money to buy one of those DNA things that tell you about your ancestors. We asked our mom to get it for us once, but she just brushed it off and said we know what we are. Mom is Korean, dad is Polish, so it's a waste of money. We only asked once when we were teens then, so I guess she thought we forgot about it eventually. When we got the results, we saw that I was Korean-Polish, just as expected, but Jane was Korean-Irish. She was 0% Polish. We were shocked and even ordered a second one. The results were the same. We were both dumbfounded and had no idea what to do. We discussed maybe just throwing it out and never speaking of it again. Before we could officially decide, one of the twins saw the results on Jade's desk and took it to our dad. We had no idea he knew. For another week or so, he just acted normal, if not a bit colder. Somehow he got a bit of Jane's hair and did a paternity test. He is not her biological father. He didn't even speak to us afterward. He just packed a bag, texted Mom the test results, and moved out. The way my mom tells the story is that they were going through a rough patch after my birth. She felt unloved and had a random one-night stand. She said she immediately regretted it and was terrified because they hadn't used condoms. Once she got home, she slept with our dad too. When Jade was born, she looked just like Mom, so it was never questioned if her husband was the father. She didn't want to know. I'm furious with her. Dad got his own place and is now going through the divorce process. He's fighting for partial custody of me, but not Jade. The twins are adults and still visit him anyway. He isn't outwardly aggressive with Jade, but now pretends that she doesn't even exist. He won't even look at her. It all disgusts me. Obviously, Jade is taking all of this very hard. She hates Mom too, but is slowly developing a deeper resentment toward Dad. He just abandoned her despite all her years as his child. I've been as supportive as I can. I've promised to do my best to avoid being with my dad when she's not invited. The main issue was when I caught her doing something 3 days ago. Dad's mom passed away suddenly when he was 10. She left behind a large collection of expensive jewelry. He keeps it all in a little box alongside a picture of her. I saw my sister secretly grab it and walk away. I asked her what she was doing. She then revealed she was going to destroy the jewelry and toss the shards into the ocean. We live very close to the coast. I love that jewelry. Jade and I used to try on little pieces from the box our entire childhood. She saw my hesitation and asked what was wrong. I explained why I thought she shouldn't destroy it, but she got very angry. She said I'm supporting Dad in abandoning her. She even said that since I obviously don't value her as a half-sister, we shouldn't act like sisters at all. One of the twins heard us and grabbed the box before she could do anything. I don't know how to fix this or reassure her. I feel like I hate everyone. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Did your mom put you guys into therapy? It sucks for Jade and she needs support, but the world isn't black and white and your dad isn't superhuman. He's having a very normal reaction. Please don't do anything you don't want to do with the idea it's helping Jade. She needs therapy and your mom needs to start it ASAP and do family therapy for you, Jade, and herself to work through the resentment feelings. You get to have a relationship with your dad still if you want one. Fully supporting does not extend to letting her destroy your family's heirlooms, not to mention theft and destruction of your father's, not hers, property. Your dad was hurt a lot, and it's surely not easy for him. But to abandon his child, whom he raised for so many years, who did nothing wrong, is just cruel. Your father broke up a seemingly good family for the 4 of you. The only one who broke it was their mom. If he'd been told about the affair when it happened, he could have divorced Mom when it happened. Unfortunately, because of Mom's lies, cheating and deceit, the last 15 years has been a lie. The dad is a victim, and to expect him not to be justified in having strong feelings about this is the kind of thinking that creates masculine toxicity. I feel like your dad may have had suspicion on some level about your mom. This is traumatic for all of your siblings, but your sister needs therapy ASAP. Your dad would have probably had her arrested for destroying jewelry, so it's a good thing you all stopped her. I'm a 33-year-old male. My set schedule is Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., but typically I'm at work from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. a lot of nights because I'm a manager and we deal with many call-outs. It's a very physically demanding job as we must move steel lifts by hand, 150 plus pounds. I also have to do grocery runs nearly every night and laundry on my days off because the apartment doesn't have a washer-dryer hookup. My wife homeschools my 3 stepkids right now, male teen, female young teen and male tween, but only until the school system puts plans in place for online schooling. We also have an infant daughter who's strictly breastfed and requires a lot of my wife's time and energy, so we're both really busy and drained. Yesterday's work was one of the worst days by far. I came home with bruises and blisters on my hands, legs and stomach. 4 call-outs, so it was only me and one other employee, who's an 18-year-old who doesn't do much outside of check TikTok. I was in a reasonable amount of discomfort and just wanted to relax. I took the baby when I got home after grocery shopping and went to sit in front of the TV. My wife got dinner and prepared and dished out. I returned the baby to her because it was feeding time, and then I ate dinner. My wife gets the baby to sleep and then starts cleaning the dishes. Well, I left my lunch pail in the truck and asked my wife to grab it for me, and she completely spiraled. She's like, "Are you going to get off your butt and do absolutely anything tonight, or do you just expect me to be the maid? Want me to wipe your butt while I'm at it?" I asked what she was on about, and she said, "I homeschooled all day with a baby attached to my breast, did the dishes just to make dinner that I didn't get to eat, and then re-washed the dishes just to have to put the baby down, and now you're asking me to do even more though you're doing jack." I just said whatever and dismissed it because it wasn't worth the fight, but today I texted her and asked what she was doing, and she said, "Everything, per usual." So apparently she's still on her tangent. I don't ask for much, but last night I wasn't willing to do anything. Am I the idiot? Edit, I didn't see it as a big deal because she was going outside anyway to water her plants. You act like you're the only one who works hard. You didn't take turns with the baby so you could both eat. You got groceries after work but didn't help cook. Then, after all that and she didn't have a chance to eat dinner, you didn't even offer to help clean the dishes. And you asked her to go out to your vehicle to get your lunchbox because you weren't willing to do anything. Yeah, you are the idiot. Help your partner for damn sake. She's tired too. Jesus, she's 2 months postpartum. Her body hasn't healed yet from childbirth. She's taking care of 4 children all day all by herself. She clearly does all the cooking and cleaning, and you expect to be thanked? Why do you think you get a cookie for working 13-hour days when her job is apparently 24/7? Yeah, man, you give a lot of detail about how tough your job is, but from her point of view, you came home and sat in front of the TV, letting her do everything for you while you held the baby. And the part about how she didn't get to eat dinner herself that you don't seem to have even noticed in your retelling of how her evening was going. Dude, stop dismissing your wife. Being dismissive will only cause more issues. When you see that your wife is physically doing dishes and hasn't had a chance to sit down, you can get your own damn lunchbox. I share custody of my 2 boys, 7 and 10, with their mom. She remarried a few years ago to Chris. Our custody agreement is fairly black and white and includes a right of first refusal, meaning that if my ex or I need a sitter, we must ask the other parent first. My ex and I started to get along because of our agreement. She was supposed to pick up our kids yesterday and keep them until Thanksgiving. I called her to review their schedule for next week, and she said that she was going out of town for business and would return on Monday. I asked her when she was going to tell me that, and she said calm down. She said Chris would be home and had planned a surprise trip to Dave and Buster's with our kids and a couple of their friends today. I said I'm not okay with you making childcare plans behind my back. You're supposed to ask me first. I said it puts me in a bad situation because if I just say okay, then you'll do it again. Had you run it by me, then I would have been okay. I can't let it go, but as a consolation, I'll take the kids and their friends to Dave and Buster's. She called later and said she spoke to Chris, and he cried when she said I would take the kids instead of him. She said he was really looking forward to spending time with the boys and was going through a rough time, and spending time with the boys and their friends was the only thing that made him happy. He'd picked up overtime to pay for everything and bought my son's friends stuff like underwear and shirts from Old Navy because they needed new clothes. She asked me to let Chris take them all to Dave and Buster's. Plus, it would look weird if I showed up to pick up the boys' friends and the parents were expecting Chris. I said no, and I really don't want to go to Dave and Buster's. Does the right of first refusal extend to step-parents, as in they can't even watch their own stepkids if the bio-parent doesn't want them to? That sucks. Yet another reason never to be a step-parent or get emotionally involved with someone with kids. As for you, way to be petty. You don't want to go, you're just making sure everyone knows your butt is bigger than your heart. You are the idiot. Exactly, he's the stepdad. So if mom goes grocery shopping alone, is he allowed to watch the kids or do they need to call dad? This isn't about babysitting. They don't need a sitter, stepdad's with them. Talk about ruining the boy's relationship with the man they live with. This is about a power struggle with your ex where the power is more important than your kids are, and it won't end well for you, OP. Do you know how rare it is for kids to have a stepdad who cares? This dude is making an effort, and you're crapping all over it because you feel threatened. If you really cared about your children, you'd be grateful for every caring adult they have in their lives. And I really don't want to go to Dave & Buster's. Jesus, then don't go. Let Chris take them and apologise to everyone involved for your childish behaviour. I never thought I'd sound so much like a Karen, but it's a lot more complicated than that. I, 38 female, live in Florida in a community of about 40 homes, and it's fully gated, so after some time you really get to know who lives in what house and who they typically have over as guests. Also, if you know anything about Florida, this is the time of year when many tourists flock to the area for warm weather. Our community also has a small rec centre for families and a gym and outdoor games, hangout, pool area that's paid for with residents' monthly HOA fees. My house is also directly next to the rec centre, so my backyard is essentially attached to it, and I can see everyone who uses the pool area. In the last 2 months, I've noticed huge groups of strangers and families show up for hours on the weekends to use the space. Music absolutely blaring until 1 or 2 a.m, screaming kids everywhere, and they'll just ruin the space by leaving their trash hanging around and not cleaning up after themselves. I haven't done or said anything to the guests directly, but last weekend was my breaking point. I have a trampoline in my backyard for my kids, but kids of the random families using the pool ran into my backyard and started jumping around on the trampoline. My dog was also outside during that time, and they tried to feed him chips and other snacks they had. The whole situation just made me so anxious because I didn't want my dog to get sick or have the kids soaking wet from the pool to slip and get hurt on my property and have it tied back to me. I immediately went into the pool to try and find their parents, and when asked whose guests they were, all of them said one guy who lives down the street, Quinn, 30s male. After talking to him, I found out he's basically been putting up ads on Facebook Marketplace where he's renting out our community rec centre to random families and tourists in the area for cheap. Primarily it's for families staying in nearby hotels that don't have nice amenities and come here instead. I thought it was absurd that he would do this with no thought for the others who live here and let strangers in who he knows nothing about and won't even clean up after themselves. Multiple other residents and I asked Quinn to take down his ad on Facebook and he refused, so we called the security on his guests. They were all asked to leave, and Quinn is facing huge fines from the HOA for overstepping the guest policies. He's now calling me and others an idiot and elitist for not wanting strangers here, and while the majority of families here are happy and side with us, there are a few who think we should have just let it be. So, am I the idiot? He's now calling me and others an idiot and elitist for not wanting strangers here. He's not doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He saw a business opportunity in renting out facilities that aren't his to make money. A lot of chutzpah there, guy. Not the idiot. By the way, how much was he charging? The online ad said $100 for the whole day and you can bring as many people as you'd like. Such a deal, no wonder he had so many takers. Quinn wouldn't mind if you posted his driveway as available for RV parking, right? You get $100 and someone parks at his house for the week. No problem for Quinn. If he does, he's just being elitist. Of course you're not the idiot. Quinn is upset because you closed down his side business, selling access to a scarce shared resource that wasn't his to sell. I've been with my boyfriend for 9 years. We shared everything until one day he took it too far. We live in a small apartment to save up for marriage and one day children. We're very happy together. He doesn't have a very good relationship with his parents, but he has a sister. She has a disability, and he's always been extremely caring of her. He's always been the type to get me presents when I'm feeling down. He got me an octopus plush and a beautiful necklace. It was rose gold and I wore it all the time. It's the prettiest thing I own. His sister always took an interest in the necklace due to the shine. She came over to look at the necklace. I let her put it on and she loved it. The next day, it was gone. I looked all over the house. Meanwhile, my boyfriend did nothing but say, "It'll turn up." It clicked in my head that it was apparent his sister had taken it, but I was late for work, so I left. On my way home, I decided to stop by my boyfriend's mom and I asked her about their daughter. They said she was upstairs. I was talking to her when I saw it on her neck and politely asked for it back, but she refused, claiming it was hers and she wasn't giving it back. I left raging without saying goodbye. I came in and told my boyfriend, and he defended her. I left and spent the night at my parents' later that day. I got a message from my boyfriend's mom who explained that it was entirely out of order and that even after my boyfriend gave it to her, I came storming in and demanding it back. I messaged back and explained I had no idea my boyfriend gave it to her and I'd lost it and wasn't happy because I wore it all the time. She hasn't answered. Am I the bad person? By the way, he gave it to her without my knowledge. Not the idiot. Your boyfriend needs to sort this out. If he doesn't, it says a lot about him if he's willing to steal it from you. His sister knows it's your necklace and should give it back. However, from how her mom is acting, I wonder if she's used to getting her own way, so she just expected to be able to keep it and nobody would say anything. Oh wow, your boyfriend is a liar and I can't believe he gave your necklace away. Why didn't he just go buy his sister her own necklace? Honey, keep this in mind when you consider your relationship with him. In the future, will you two be expected to care for her in your home? It seems like he won't prioritize and defend you with her, and this could be the dynamic of the whole relationship in the future. That is stealing. Do you want to be in a relationship with a lying thief who doesn't respect you? You aren't going to want it back after you break up anyway, so let the necklace and him go. He has a wackadoodle family you need no part of. If they're doing this now, any future is very bleak. Kick him to the curb, and in 6 months you will be with a better match. Don't settle for less. Time for a new boyfriend.